What's up, everybody? Donald Trump swore up and down that he would be the peace president. What a load of crap. Instead, we got a draft dodger who wraps himself in the flag while selling this country out to every dictator with a checkbook. He caves to Putin, bankrolls Netanyahu's slaughter of Palestinians, and nearly dragged us into a war with Iran on a whim. Now we find out he's been scheming to sneak us back into Afghanistan after cutting a deal with the Taliban to pull out in the first place. That's Trump's foreign policy: chaos, corruption, and the constant drumbeat of another forever war. And it's not politicians who pay the price. It's our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and their families. It's moms and dads waiting for calls from the front lines. It's veterans like me who've bled in those wars and know damn well the cost. We deserve leaders who end wars instead of restarting them, and who defends democracy instead of kissing the boots of autocrats. And that's a fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.
So, what do we call it when the government terrorizes its own people? Because that's what it sounded like at Quantico this morning. He stood up there and straight up said, we have to handle the so-called enemy from within. And who's that? Not some outside threat. He's talking about us. Protesters, journalists, teachers. Anybody who doesn't agree. Imagine being a citizen of this country and hearing the president call you an enemy. And then he doubled down and said we're going to use American cities as training grounds for our military. Like, excuse me? My neighborhood isn't a practice zone. My street is not a war game. That's not defense, y'all. That is intimidation. And here's the part that kind of stuck with me. If you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. But there goes your rank and there goes your future. He's giving mob boss. He doesn't want loyalty to the country. He wants loyalty to himself. And then there's that wild line that he said. There are 2 N-words and you can't use either of them. He threw nuclear war and racial slurs in the same sentence like it was supposed to be some sort of joke. That shit's not funny. It's dangerous and it tells you exactly what he values, which is nothing. But here's the scariest part. He's not hiding. He's saying it all on camera. Flags behind him, soldiers in uniform, people clapping under duress, maybe? None of this is normal. So yeah, what do we call it when the government terrorizes its own people? Because the legal definition of domestic terrorism is intimidation or violence used to push a political agenda. So tell me why this doesn't fit.
Trump promised to lower the cost of living of this country on day 1. It's day 260. Unemployment is up, inflation is up, coffee, clothing, fruits, and vegetable all up. Everything is up. Donald Trump and the billionaire establishment passed the largest transfer of wealth in the history of this country by stealing from working class Americans to give tax breaks to the ultra wealthy and the largest corporations in this country. While the rich get richer, the rest of us are getting screwed. And we want to make sure that people understand that it's not their fault that they can't get by because they are working harder and harder than ever. We know that they're going to keep trying to rebrand this big, beautiful bill, but they can't run. They can't hide. This is something they're going to have to live with for the rest of their lives and through 2026 and to 2027, 28, and 29.
Here's a list of campaign promises Trump made in the 2016 election that he failed to deliver on. He did not repeal and replace Obamacare with something better. He did not also tweak it to make it better. He never did appoint a special prosecutor to investigate Hillary Clinton. He promised to not take vacations, which is funny because he took almost 300 golf trips, costing taxpayers between 140 and 340 million bucks. He did not build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. He built part of a fence that is easily climbable. He promised to eliminate the national debt, and it actually grew from 19 trillion to over 27 trillion. He promised to remove all undocumented immigrants from this country, and he failed to do that. Coincidentally, he's promising to do that again. He failed to bring back manufacturing jobs. In fact, companies continue to outsource jobs. He promised to enact term limits, and he didn't do it. He promised to revive the coal industry, which didn't happen at all. He promised to grow the economy by 4% per year. The closest he got was 2.9% in 2018. He promised to end the opioid crisis. Didn't happen. He promised to negotiate a better deal with Iran after tearing up the nuclear deal that we had with them, and in fact, Iran is closer than ever to getting a nuclear weapon. He promised a lifetime ban on White House officials lobbying for foreign governments. That didn't happen. He promised to invest $550 billion into infrastructure. He did not pull that off. Incidentally, Biden pulled off an infrastructure plan. He guaranteed 6 weeks paid leave. Didn't happen. He promised a national right to carry in all 50 states. Didn't do it. He promised to increase the army to 540,000, and it didn't happen.
All right, Trumpers, come and get me. Hey, listen, it's a sad day to be an American, and I'll tell you why. Is because it's not about the red, white, and blue. It's not about being an actual American. It's not about our military. It's about that Americans are plumb incompetent to put that orange man in the White House again for the second time. He makes us look weak. He makes us look like we're fools. He makes us look incompetent and weak. He's declining at a rapid rate. It's okay for him to get up there and scream profanity words, crazy, stupid, all these words that he says is terrible, but he claims to be this Christian, has this big Christian following. That doesn't sound real Christian-like to me, okay? That sounds like you bought into a cult. And it's just sad to think that all you Americans put us in this position that voted for him. It just makes me not even want to be an American. And a lot of people's going to read this about, well, then move. Well, now, bitch, be smart about what you're saying. It's an analogy of just saying that it's your fault for voting for him. It's your fault for putting him in the White House, and it's your fault for making this country the way it is because you were too daft and too incompetent and too uneducated to see what this man was doing to us. So, MAGAs, you did fuck us, and thank you for fucking us.
What do you call a guy who runs for president on the promise of lowering grocery costs and lowering inflation, delivers higher grocery costs and higher inflation in record time, and doesn't lose a single supporter as a result? You know, this is right on the tip of my tongue, and I just can't quite pinpoint it. Oh yeah, that's right. A cult leader.
I spent most of this winter in South America. I just got back in the other night, and I want to relay this message to all our friends and government officials and people we worked with all over the world. I want to tell you the same thing I told the South Americans the other night. Please do not come to the United States. We are not the same country we were 4 months ago. It is not safe here anymore. They can pull you off the street. They can detain you. They'll do God knows what to you. They're doing it to our own citizens. They will do it to you. Please do not support American products. Don't buy American. Don't vacation here. I'm very sorry to say this, and I want to apologize on behalf of all rational Americans in this country who are fighting Trump tooth and nail with everything we have. We're sorry. We're doing the best we can to get rid of this guy. And all his crooked cronies, but we're having a very difficult time doing it. We handed him the keys. An ignorant populace handed him the keys to this kingdom, and we're finding it very difficult to even slow him down, frankly. I think America's done. I hate to say that, but I don't know how much we can.
You know what, President Trump? This is for you, man. Look, I know you've got a lot on your plate. I know you have a lot to do and a lot to keep this country safe, and I appreciate that. But you made us a campaign promise. And I remember you said it at every stop. I'm going to fix the economy and get prices more affordable. You ain't done none of that. Not even a little bit. Stores are price gouging us on tariffs. Stuff that they're putting on tariffs on. And guess what? They're made here in America. You call it like your agencies call it out. But nothing gets done. The stores aren't made to put the prices back. They're not made to fix anything. No, instead, what are they doing? Still charging us the same prices. In fact, they're raising prices even higher. And your administration is doing nothing to help that. Nothing. Not a thing. You have done absolutely nothing to help that. And I'm sorry, but, like, we're struggling. Like, you're erasing the middle class. You know, you said, oh, the left, they're all about erasing the middle class. No, you are too, because you're doing the same exact thing. You're not doing anything to help us. I know you got a lot on your plate, but man, just take a day or 2 days and do something to turn around the economy in this country. People are struggling. People are losing their homes because they can't afford. They have to choose between making a car payment or putting food on their table. People are having to choose between paying their credit cards down or putting food on the table. Or they're having to max out their credit cards to pay bills because everything is so daggum expensive. Gas should be going down. We're drilling in America. Why is gas still over $2.89 a gallon? Why is things so damn expensive under you this time, but last time is so much cheaper? I know the Biden administration screwed up the economy and made inflation just skyrocket. But there are things that you can do to fix it, and you need to do it.
I heard him earlier tonight, and once again, he lied. Eggs are still over $6 a dozen. And
they've been filling y'all full of shit, folks.
They've been talking about egg prices being through the fucking roof, grocery prices and gas prices being through the roof, and how Donald Trump has been killing inflation. Well, I went grocery shopping yesterday, and guess what I found? At Costco, I can get eggs for $2.70 a dozen. I can get a gallon of milk for $2.59 a gallon. I mean, when's the last time you've gotten a gallon of milk for under $3? I know it's been a long time for me. And you can get 25 pounds of pinto beans for less than 20 bucks. You know all those people that's griping about losing their food stamps because they don't want to work? All they got to do is go buy a bag of pinto beans. A 25-pound bag of pinto beans will feed a family of 4 for a fucking month. And on my way home, I got gas for $1.32 a gallon. Thank you, Donald Trump. Now that's what I call making America great.
This is truly heartbreaking. Take a look at this statement by a woman breaking down in tears because she cannot afford to live anymore. She says, "I'm wondering if anybody else is feeling like they're drowning and they can't get out. I work overtime and I cannot get above the water. I mean, I literally have no gas for next week. It was either that or get a few groceries to get by. I hit my local food pantries. I'm just wondering if anyone else feels like they're drowning. The gas prices and the electric bills and the prices of food is just overwhelming." It's really sad because these are all issues that Donald Trump promised he would fix. He knows that Americans are struggling. He campaigned on it the whole time. But what does he do when he gets elected into office? Instead of fixing it, he makes it worse with his tariffs, raising taxes on the consumers. And also, he raises our deficit by trillions of dollars, giving tax cuts to billionaires. Think about what he did. He used the American people's pain, our struggling, our suffering to get himself the presidency, and then he turns on us, doing the exact opposite of what he told us he was going to do. Not only is he making the prices of everything increase, giving tax cuts to billionaires, but he's also cutting social programs that people in poverty depend on to survive. To the Republican Party, I say this, please stop voting against your own self-interest. Billionaires do not care about you.
American farmers have destroyed themselves by voting for this Trump regime. Their hate for so many groups of people that they have learned to demonize allowed them to vote themselves out of business by voting for Donald Trump and today's MAGA Republicans. I don't know what else to say. We already know how the American soybean farmer was decimated. This fall, China, their biggest customer, placed exactly 0 orders for soybeans from American farmers because of Donald Trump's regime's tariffs. They went to Brazil. We all saw the videos of the farmers crying in Arkansas, I believe it was. "Please, Mr. President, we love you, but come save us." Oh, you guys, it just gets so much worse. So you know how our $20 billion in taxes, yours, Mr. Farmer, and mine, was just snatched from us and given to the leader of Argentina to help keep their version of Donald Trump in power? Your 20 billion and my 20 billion? This was screenshot on our Department of Treasury's cell phone from our Department of Agriculture. Ready? Finally, just a heads up, I'm getting more intel, but this is highly unfortunate, the text said. "We bailed out Argentina yesterday, and in return, the Argentines are removing their export tariffs on grains, reducing their price, and sold a bunch of soybeans to China at a time when we would normally be selling to China. Soy prices are dropping further because of it. This gives China more leverage on us." And he responds, Besant responds, "On a plane, Scott, but I'll call you when I land." You guys voted for this. The Democrats, who y'all hate so much, you've been programmed to hate your fellow neighbor, your family members. You guys voted for this. We warned all of you because we're not in a cult. we could see how these decisions affect businesses, affect our farmers. We were fighting for farmers, telling you don't vote for this, and you voted for this. Your tax dollars, this Trump administration just used to fuck you even further, Mr. Soybean farmer, and grains. This affects a lot of other farmers, not just soybean farmers. Anybody who harvests and sells grains to China. There you go.